All right, that was Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2, Episode 3.
This show is better with the second season. The animation is better. I feel like everything's hitting better. I don't even know how to describe it.
Granted, I love any show that I get to watch with you. The experience of watching shows with you is amazing, and it enhances whatever I'm watching. That being said, I feel I might be talking with rose-tinted glasses, but I feel like the animation, the story, the art, everything is just out of this world this season so far. No pun intended in reference to the moon.
I haven't felt like there's been a lull in an episode. It's specifically like we were saying how great last episode was, and then this episode came and we got the freaking moon scene, and then we got student council disbanding. And like every second of it was entertaining and interesting and animated creatively.
Every second of it has been deeper for me, which is bizarre because I keep expecting, I'm like, okay, it's unrealistic and not fair of me to expect the next episode to be as good as the last. That's not how series work. Like, you have to, pace that stuff out. But it has, for 3 straight episodes, been, extraordinary. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
And I think they're successfully getting us closer and closer to believing that there could actually be a confession. Or there could actually be a time where the two of them actually get together and admit their feelings.
You want to know why? Because Kaguya willingly lost here. She admitted that she wanted him to stay and was being selfish. She 100% lost here. There was no deeper game from her end. She was okay with losing and put her actual in-loveness first.
I think that's the definition of second season Kaguya.
Right?
She is more and more willing to... I think what's interesting to me is I think Miyuki Shirogane, I feel like he, before Kaguya, would be able to drop his pride to be with her and to confess. I feel like Kaguya's the one who would fight tooth and nail to never let go of it, especially season 1 Kaguya. Mm-hmm. I was like, it felt like it was because of her that there would never be any momentum and they would never get anywhere. Yeah. Because she would never let it happen.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Miyuki has shown us that if he's not thinking, if he's not focused on the game or trying to be impressive or trying to fit into this president role, then he completely just acts natural and romantic and sweet. But Kaguya is so, tight. I don't know how else to describe it. It's she is no relax. And I feel like second season Kaguya is finally breaking down the walls a little bit. Mm-hmm. A lot of it, actually, from first season. And now I'm actually seeing the possibility that they could end up together.
I agree with you. I think you put that in a really good way, too, because starting off the series, you're just oh, it's the bit. Mm-hmm. If they ended up together, is it just gonna be a bit for the whole time? Whatever, it might happen. If it does, it might feel weird. It feels like progress being made. It feels really, really natural.
I think we even said that in the first season, if there was a confession, we could never see it being an actual confession.
Yeah,
it'd be like an accidental. Somehow they end up suddenly a couple, and neither of them know how it happened. But now I feel like they could actually say it out loud.
We're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the scene pulled up of Kaguya and Miyuki outside of Kaguya's residence. There is no doubt in my mind Hayasaka has stayed late and is looking with night vision goggles. Watching. But I have to say, the Kaguya Moon storyline and just the dialogue that was written for Miyuki was life-changing.
Oh, can we just read through him telling the story of Kaguya?
It was amazing, wasn't it?
And what he says at the end is amazing, and I think that's why we need to, read through the story of Princess Kaguya that he tells.
I think part of what made it so amazing was Kaguya's break. Like, her break from the game, being bashful and shy, let me
show that I'm interested, because that's a way to get guys to like you.
And then, her reaction and blushing from what Miyuki is doing. That was all very natural for her, but, it was a split-second break right when she had, connection to the story.
Right, there's, an actual wall that you see kind of... It's, for a second, she's, being real. Yeah. And it's actually hitting her, in her heart.
Yeah. I think they show it all on screen, too. The moon reminds me of Princess Kaguya. You have the same name, maybe you have a special fondness for it. And it's just, the realization, she closes her eyes, and then the way that she opens her eyes and it's drawn. It's so serious. You can see the tone.
Because she sees it in a certain way.
How could you not?
Because, she says that she sees it as being forced to return home to the moon and abandoning the one she's loved. And we've asked ourselves, how was Kaguya's father going to possibly handle them ever being in a relationship? Is Kaguya supposed to have arranged marriages in her future and she couldn't actually be with Miyuki? And
you wonder, the way that they show the moon from Kaguya's perspective here is very interesting. Mm-hmm. There's so much noise. There's distortion. It's there's a filter of how Kaguya's perception of this story is. And as the story gets broken down and shown through how Miyuki feels about it and his perspective, it seems like
it's
gets
why they
more
have
clear.
The moon explode, too.
Yeah.
Because she probably sees the moon as being the representation of her being trapped in her family.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's beautiful.
It's forever. It's she's supposed to be forever trapped in the sky, away from everyone.
And I 100% feel this was no game. Miyuki understood why she felt the way that she did. He said, makes sense.
Makes sense that be how she interprets the story.
And I think that deeper understanding and connection between the two enriches their relationship beyond they both have a crush on each other and they're shy to admit it.
I think I can completely agree that they both actually understand each other.
Oh my god, yeah. We see it when Kaguya is talking to Chika about how much work it must have taken for the president to juggle all these things at once. He has a job, he has school, he is being the president. Why would he do that again? It's a complete understanding of each other. I'm sure this is an actual story that I just didn't know of. And it sounds like a real story.
There's, I think it might be a Pixar movie. It's either a Pixar or Disney movie recently that's a similar plot. I don't know if it's the same story. It's probably inspired by the folklore, the same folklore. I don't think you've seen it, but it was really cute. The Jade Rabbit.
No, I have not.
I don't think that's the name. I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was a jade rabbit in it.
The whole idea of this artificial story, someone came down, they gave this person an immortality mixer, and him burning it as a, what would you say, a lack of acceptance of living without her. Yeah. I think that makes sense in a story and is very believable. Mm-hmm. And the way that Miyuki interprets it is so beautiful. I think it's so beautiful. Do you think a woman like that would give an immortality potion to the one immortality potion to the one that she loved? Look at that.
That's and the moon's reflected in his eyes.
I always think that elixir was Princess Kaguya's message telling him, I'll come back for you someday.
And you don't see... I love when animes make the choice to not show a character's eyes. And obviously, the mouths aren't super detailed. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're seeing this real life kind of expression and detail that happens when someone gasps or makes a certain expression with the lower half of their face. But it has worked, especially in this episode. This is probably the first time, and then the Miyuki scene at the end was the second time. Mm-hmm. So easily convey an emotion with the less detailed portion of a person's face in anime.
And I think it's that shows how good the writing is, and that shows how good we understand the characters and they're able to convey who the character is.
Because normally the eyes are so much the place where you get that emotion, especially in anime where the eyes are drawn normally to be very, very interesting, detailed. And in this show, they move.
Yeah.
It's like the internal red of Kaguya's eyes moves.
It's interesting because I think this show does show a crazy amount of emotion through the way that eyes are drawn. And it feels like since they chose not to show us the eyes, it's putting more importance on the dialogue and the actual feelings of the character rather than showing us.
Yeah.
It's like
another step of showing that this isn't a part of the bit and isn't a part of the game.
Yeah.
It's just two people that could be anyone just sitting on a roof.
Even if it would have taken more time than a human lifespan, even if the distance between them was hopeless, I think she gave him the elixir of immortality, imbuing it with the meaning, I'll wait for you forever. But the man didn't pick up on her message. Okay, we're getting to it. We're getting to like the biggest, like, I can't stop smiling.
What the hell ever.
It's a cruel story. If it had been me,
I never would have let Kaguya go.
That's not even it.
That's not even it.
I
would have gone to the moon and stolen her back. No question. Even if it would have taken decades, even centuries. Enough.
If it had been our story, I would have read the meaning between the lines and would have had a very different ending.
And you know why I believe that? Because Miyuki understands Kaguya.
Yep.
He would know what her meaning behind giving that elixir was.
I cannot believe he said that. I cannot believe it happened.
It's like so self-aware and so natural. It's like in this moment, he's basically saying, I know that I like you and I know that you like me. We just haven't admitted it to each other yet and we're not dating yet.
You wonder, so like towards the end of this episode, we have the understanding that going forward, if the president is no longer president, they would not interact as much, right?
Which I can see how that would be the case.
Miyuki here says that if this was him, if this was their story, he would reach out and make it not the case.
And that's oh my gosh, that's a great thing to say. That brings up the second half of the episode.
Exactly. And Kaguya, through action, reached out and didn't let him go.
Gave him the elixir of immortality, the meaning, the message, saying she didn't want him to not be president anymore.
Well, I don't think it was her giving him the elixir. I think that he had given her the elixir by like having all the information and stuff, and then her not letting it go on. Like her just shutting up, I think we understood Miyuki would not have been president. She sacrificed all the games, no matter how it would make her look in the situation, and reached out and grabbed him, literally, to do this. It was amazing. It's weird because Miyuki said I would have gone to the moon and stolen her back, so you'd think that in the end, he would have already put in the form to be president again, because he would have done that extra step. But having Kaguya do it was so rewarding and such a payoff, I think.
I think it was more of a payoff for us as the viewer and more satisfying that he wasn't necessarily intending to be president anymore. And it's because of what she said that he actually turned in the paper. Yep.
You know, I wonder if what Kaguya said to Miyuki on the rooftop, like it was the fireworks display and now this. If we're looking at like the terms of physical significance and actually making a move, I think it's very clear to me Miyuki has done more in that field than Kaguya recently. Like, I, not to say Kaguya hasn't, because she has, but maybe Miyuki feels like I'm putting work into this. Like, even though I feel weird about it, the moon thing did happen. I wonder if he doubts continuing. I know he does a little bit, but I wonder if he's doubting if Kaguya feels it all the same way and wants like a, effort back in a small way.
I think that's a good thing to bring up, that Miyuki has made moves, whether he's aware that they are moves or not, because it seems like he's made moves when he's being naturally himself, and they're romantic moves. But the only two moves I can think of from Kaguya, one of them, she was sick with a fever, and the other one could have been read as platonic, giving him a piece of cake.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like her moves aren't as romantic and kind of putting yourself out
They're
there
more safe.
As his have been.
Yeah, I think until now. Mm-hmm. Until she reached out and said, "Can I be selfish?" And I think that, I don't know, I thought it was I thought it was great. I also loved that she didn't feel like Shirogane, like, saying that was the correct, it didn't feel right, you know?
I thought we were gonna get a Miyuki, but
yeah.
I think it was better for her to say that she wanted him to keep being president.
Yeah.
I did love that Ishigami chose nickname, though.
Yeah.
It was
I
so
want
cute.
more Ishigami.
I felt for him when he realized that his distance at the beginning and the fact that he was always the invisible member of the council, he regretted it.
Yep. That's
and I really
powerful.
felt for him.
Me
because
too.
he was realizing, oh my gosh, all that time that I immediately ducked out and went home, they were having these memories.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
And like that's so relatable to have him feel that.
Yeah. So I wonder if this girl's gonna run for election and maybe like they come to some deal that Shirogane like is training her to be a successor.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what other role there is. If we keep the original 4 in their roles, what other role is there?
True.
Because when Kaguya was saying who she would put in the 4 roles, I love that she kept Ishigami, but then she was like, Kashiwagi is the secretary. And I'm like, poor Chika did not deserve this. What is the band on the girl, though, shown at the end?
The yellow?
Yeah. They, Miyuki brings up a committee that I guess helps with the council. When we were learning about him receiving the recommendation, he doesn't need to be president anymore. He already has that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's like a disciplinary committee and or like, I'm not sure. Maybe that's what the bracelets around their arms are, is some committee that works under the student council.
I hope Kaguya doesn't get jealous.
Oh, okay. Romance shows normally introduce, whether convincing or not, a second possible runner-up love interest to create a kind of push needed to eventually get to confession. So I like that. This show hasn't really had a true rival or a true kind of jealousy. I mean, Kaguya's gotten jealous of like Chika, but it's been like silly and funny.
Yeah. So it would be an interesting take.
It would.
To put in that. Before we close out, you and I both audibly made sounds at this shot of water or Coke filling up or coffee filling up.
I think it was iced tea.
Whatever it being, and then transitioning to Kaguya, and it was iced coffee. And it was so good.
Oh, and then as it fills up, you see her reflection.
Yeah, I know this is a stretch, but the way that it's the liquid's animated, it almost reminds me of Kaguya's hair. Like, and then it like transitions into her hair. I love it.
Or it could be thought of as an emotional imagery for Kaguya, where she is cold as ice, but then what happens when you put another liquid into ice? The ice eventually melts and joins the other liquid.
I like it. This show is so good.
It got better.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what my expectations should be for the second season, but it's definitely like ramping up in terms of like time and quality even that was given to it.
Yeah. Loved it.
Loved it.
You good?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time. Yeah, I know this is a stretch. Yeah, I know this is a stretch. Yeah, I know this is a stretch.
Yeah, I know this is a stretch.